Have you ever gotten feedback that you sound robotic after a presentation, or that you don't sound yourself after a presentation? Today, I'm going to share with you a story that I had just experienced 2 weeks ago from Waikiki, Hawaii. If you're joining me on YouTube, you'll notice I have a beautiful, wonderful tan. Too bad my tans don't stay. And also my dermatologist really upset at me for ruining my skin, but that's another story. Today, I can bring you back the experience from Waikiki that actually surprisingly mirrors the effect of being robotic, and how that also translates into public speaking. Splash. Suddenly I'm underwater. I'm blowing bubbles out of my nose, and I'm looking up to try to find the surface, and then I get up and there's noise and waves crashing, and I'm trying to look for stability. I see my surfboard, swim to my surfboard, and I finally get there and I could take a breath. Where's my surf coach? There's that orange hat. He's known as a surf guru in Waikiki. He's phenomenal, been teaching 25 years. He wears an orange hat so all of his students can find him. So I swim to my surf guru and I get back there, and the first thing he says to me is, stop overthinking it. You're overthinking it. In my mind, all I'm doing is thinking about, my positioning, my feet on the board. Am I looking up versus looking down? And there's probably underneath the subconscious, I'm afraid of messing up. I'm afraid of falling. I'm afraid of hurting myself. I'm not a spring chicken. I don't want to get hurt. So I'm afraid, I'm scared. And then so he says to me, stop overthinking it. Look at your daughter. Your daughter has picked it up so quickly. My daughter's 15 years old, right? He goes, today you are her sister. You're not the mom, you're the sister. And that clicked with me, because then I remember back in 20s and even my daughter's age 15, I didn't think about anything. I didn't worry about getting hurt. I didn't worry about falling. And then that's what I did. So I just let everything go. I let whatever go that he just taught me on to do. I had to just drop it and just go with my courage and get up on that board and pretend I was 20 years old and not be afraid of falling, not be afraid of getting hurt. And so I did that. I got up on the board. And as soon as I committed to that, I was able to finally feel the board, stand up, feel the water underneath me, and then adjust. And then I fell, but that's okay, because I stayed up a little bit longer. And then I got up again the next time with the same mentality of courage and no fear. And then I stayed up a little bit longer after that. And then I was able to truly feel the water underneath the board and then pivot on the board. And then I finally coasted and surfed all the way back to the beach. And by the end of the beach, I was ecstatic. I was happy. I screamed. I was like, yay! And the surf guru was so happy. And my daughter was so proud. And it was an exciting time. I had a lot of fun surfing. And again, I bring this up because it's like presentation skills. It's like delivering a speech, speaking to a large audience. Many times we can overthink things. So if someone has said to you, you're not yourself, it's because you are overthinking things. You're either overthinking things or in your head. And so what does that mean? When you're overthinking it, you're probably deeply afraid. You're afraid of being judged. You're afraid if you're going to mess it up. You're afraid, there's some fear there. And then it translates into, what am I thinking? What am I saying? Am I saying the right thing? Are they judging me? So you're thinking versus being. And when you're thinking, you become robotic. When you are rehearsing and saying the words that you just practiced, every word script by, every word in your script, you start to sound robotic, because that's not how you talk. People don't talk from a script. When you're talking to your friends, do you know every single word that you're going to say? No. And it comes out beautifully. It comes out like a conversation. And so when you are rehearsing your script word for word, you're going to sound robotic because you're thinking about the word that you're saying. or you're thinking about how am I sounding? And so all of these are up in our head. And we don't want that. We don't want you to sound robotic. When you sound robotic, people don't trust you. People are not connected to you. And then you're not influential. And then you're not building the team and getting people to get buy-in into your initiatives. And so we want you to stop overthinking. And I'm going to share some tips with you today. I'm going to share 4 tips to stop overthinking, stop being in your head so you can be more in flow, ease, and connected to your audience. And so here's the 4. The first one is practice from bullets. The second is get centered. The third is be present during your presentation. And the 4th is celebrate your wins. The first one, practice from your bullets. That means use bullets, speak from your heart. Many of us write out our presentation word for word, and that is okay. So when you go to get ready for your presentation, you want to write out all the words. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Do your research, get all the data, and write out the words if you need to, if that supports you. Just get it all out. When you go to practice, practice from bullets. Practice from just the key words from your script, not word for word. Let that go. That doesn't serve you. It's like training wheels. So you want, and you remember when you let go of the training wheels, it was a little scary at first, but once you start getting into the rhythm of the bike, you'll be okay. So as long as you commit to letting go of your training wheels and commit to practicing from bullets and speaking from your heart, you're going to know it. You're going to feel more connected to your words. So when you practice from the key points, and then practice in front of people, right? Practice in front of your friends or in front of a coach like me, some other coach, but practice from the bullets. And then 2, get centered before the presentation. That means taking a moment to get connected to your heart, get connected to your confidence and courage, just like I did before I got up on the surfboard. Everything that he had just taught me, he wanted me to dump it out into the water. All the moves, like the stance, he just said, let it go. So you had already spent the time researching, writing out your script. Now I want you to let it go and trust yourself. And that is why I want you to go take a moment to get centered. Because most people, before their presentation, what are we doing? They're reading their notes, they're rehearsing it word for word, and then that means you're going more up into your head. And when you're more up into your head, you're going to overthink things, and you're not connected to the truth of who you are, the confident person. It's a feeling. I want you to get connected to the feeling. And if you're in your head, you're robotic. You're not feeling. So get centered, let go, and trust that you know your stuff. And then get centered. Take 10 minutes to get centered before the presentation. Third, once you're in the presentation and you're talking and communicating and delivering your presentation, when you notice yourself starting to speed up your talking, or if you're talking too fast, or if you're feeling very nervous, use your breath and get present. Getting present means going back into your body. When you're nervous, that means you're thinking and you are in your head. Go back into your body by using your senses, the 5 senses: sight, sound, hearing. And so, for example, use your sight. That's the first thing I go to. When I want to get present, I use my sight and I look for something in the room that catches my attention. For example, the water bottle, the red water bottle, the green plant, Jessica's smile. I can use my sight, then use my hearing, the humming of the car that just drove by. What am I hearing? And so that is bringing me back into my body and not in my head, right? You notice when I'm in my body, I'm using my senses. I only can use my senses through my body. And so that will bring me to the present moment. And when you're in the present moment in your body, you're more connected to the people, you're connected to your heart. And so using your breath to slow yourself down, to allow yourself the opportunity to slow down, to allow yourself the opportunity to get present. That is the key. Overthinking means nervousness. going into your body, getting present using your senses. Then the fourth one is celebrate your wins. How many times have we finished a presentation and we're ruminating on what went wrong, what I didn't cover, what point I missed? We want to also include what went well. What did I do? How did I feel? Transition, notice some courage. Notice that you did do it. Notice that you gave it all gave it all you had. So what went well? Celebrate the wins, closing it out that way. So by implementing these 4 strategies, tips, practice your bullets, get centered before your presentation, stay present, celebrate your wins. You are going to move out of sounding robotic. You're going to move out from overthinking and staying in your head during your presentation. You're going to move out of that and you're going to transition into a speaker, a leader that is connected, that is present, that is able to be with the audience and allow the audience to see you for your authenticity. Because when you're robotic and you're trying so hard to get things right, like I did on that surfboard in Waikiki, that wasn't me. So we want to step away from being so perfect and getting everything right, because that's not you. You're human. And so practicing that 4 steps will allow you to move more into humanity, into a person that may be imperfect, that may mess it up, and that's okay. But the truth of it is that when you allow yourself to mess up, more than likely it doesn't even happen. And so it's a wonderful process. It's a wonderful, magical phenomenon that when you allow yourself to mess up, more than likely you won't. And so using those 4 techniques will help you to transition into that connected leader that is respected, that is heard, that moves people, that inspires people to act, because you are human and you are there. You're there to support them. You're there to make a bigger difference. And you're so connected to that feeling, that passion that you have. Just like I did when I was on that surfboard, I was so connected to just wanting to be free and having no fear. That is more important than the words I'm about to say, the feeling in my body. And when that is exuding from every part of my beingness, people feel it. People feel moved. People feel you, and you can feel them. And that is the connection. That is the inspiration. And that is what's going to move mountains. So use those tips. We need more leaders to feel connected. We need more leaders to inspire others. And so join me for the next episode, and we will continue together to unleash our leadership voices and make a positive difference in this world. See you next time. Thanks for joining the conversation today. Are you curious on how you measure up with your ability to speak in flow? Come grab my free self-assessment at https://speakinflow.com/assessment. And I'll see you on the other side.